India, it's a fascinating country. The education system here, it's puzzling me, of course. I do the boot camps and I'm fully energized. Every day that I wake up here, it's like I'm waking up in a new world. I was always a bit awkward person, standing out, always a bit like, okay, what's going on, and always making drawings and doing things like that. If you are curious, you are always looking further or you always look around. And you want to know more, what's going on.
For people who are looking to get into startups, what do you say about curiosity? Should they always be curious or should they just explore on their ideas?
I hope that you guys will keep that human curiosity instead of immediately go to your phone and immediately go to chat or whatever and ask them for the solution. Experience, practical learning is very important. That's why I'm here, by the way. We do practical learning. Boot camps is not sitting in a row. I'm not teaching. I'm not the king of the classroom anymore. I'm the friend. I'm the mentor.
There are a lot of students, there are a lot of people who want to start their own startup. So what are the 5 practical things that you would suggest they do? Hello and welcome back to our dear channel SGT Pulse. In today's episode, we have with us Mr. Mick Walsvich, who is an entrepreneur and a coach and very dear to us. This is the second time he's visiting our university. Our today's episode is called Startups, the Bold Blueprint. So, sir, how are you?
I'm good. First of all, I'm so happy to be back. It's not the second home, but when you visit a place and you come back with a good feeling and a good heart, it's always a pleasure. So thank you for having me. Thanks a lot.
Because we're surrounded by books right now. So if your life was a book, what would be on the cover page of your book?
Ah, wow. Yeah, our house is also filled with books. And I like your question. First of all, a book and a cover, it's always something about what's in the book. But most books that have a cover are books that are overwritten about things that are done. And I come to the conclusion with this question that my life just started. So I think it's a blanco cover and a first page. And I will tell you more about that in this interview.
We all know you've written a lot in that book, so that is not true.
No, of course, I have a lot of experience. Well, the title could be Life is Too Short for Ordinary Experiences, because I'm now in my 60s. I just turned 60, and every day when I wake up, it's a pleasure to be there. But when I came in India the first time, it was last year, January, then I opened a new book. And I hope that we can speak a bit about my experiences here in India, the country, but of course my experience as coach or mentor or teacher. And let's open the book and let's talk about what's inside that book.
Let's talk about this new book that you're talking about, this new experience. How is it?
Yeah, it's funny, India, I'm here now for the second time. It's a fascinating country. A lot of things are puzzling me. When you are in your 60s and you have so much experience as an entrepreneur, you think you have all the answers. But when I came here the first time, so that's again the book, so many new things, new people. Yeah, the education system here, it's puzzling me, of course. I do the boot camps, so working with students, with faculty members, entrepreneurs. It's a fascinating country and I'm fully energized. Every day that I wake up here, it's like I'm waking up in a new world. Yeah.
Could you tell us more about entrepreneurship? Because now that you've spoken about how you're a coach here and you're guiding the students.
So I'm from a very creative family. I'm, by the way, from the Netherlands. From Europe. My father is still alive, he's an architect. My mother, she was a creative artist, she was designing jewelry. And I was always a bit awkward person, standing out the normal tide and always a bit like, okay, what's going on, and always making drawings and doing things like that. So I went to school, and after my school, there was always the question what to do. Maybe you know that, when you're from a doctor's family, you become a doctor. And my father said, yeah, become an architect. But I went to the Academy of Art. I finished it quite soon, fast, it's a better way to say it. And then I started my graphic design studio. And one of the things, I think it's from my mother's side, is my curiosity. And my life is filled with all kind of things that has to do with curiosity. It's also the reason why I'm here, to be honest, because you can ask me, why did you come to India? Because I'm a volunteer in an organization called Boom. It's an initiative, it's all 50 years old. And it's bringing experts all around the globe. Instead of bringing money, to help countries, our aim is to send people with experience and to work together with people on a local basis. And I'm in the incubator sector. And our incubator sector has to deal with universities, with students, with grassroots organizations. And a few years ago, when I went with pension, well, quite fast, but maybe later more about that, I was thinking what to do with the rest of my life regarding to my professional life. And I came in that organization, and it brought me to Colombia and to India a couple of times. I go to Bangladesh, and it's amazing to be part of this organization, by the way. But now, today, we're talking about India. Yeah.
I like that you're still so curious about so many things with so much experience that you've had. So is it that for the new generation, for people who are looking to get into startups, what do you say about curiosity? Should they always be curious, or should they just explore on their ideas, be more focused?
You know what is interesting? I think an entrepreneur, you were asking a bit about the profile of an entrepreneur or the DNA. I think it's the curiosity, because if you are curious, you are always looking further, or you always look around, and you want to know more. What's going on. So that brought me to places all around the globe that was even not in my calendar or even my books. You're talking about books. And the nowadays curiosity, it's also you're able to do that with internet, with technology, with chat or whatever. Don't talk too much about technology. But our humanity has a natural curiosity. And I think that's a question nowadays, also in the new generation. I hope that you guys will keep that human curiosity instead of immediately go to your phone and immediately go to chat or whatever and ask them for the solution. Because in my 35 years of being an entrepreneur, I had to go back into books, but also to go back in my thought and reflect on, okay, how to solve this problem or how to deal with this, what I have in mind. And this is one of the things that also on my trips here and also the universities, I've visited now 6 universities. Every time I speak with the new generation or even people like you, and that's the thing. I'm curious about how that will evolve, all the tools you got nowadays. And I always say, books are there, but experience, practical learning is very important. That's why I'm here, by the way. We do practical learning. Bootcamps is not sitting in a row. I'm not teaching. I'm not the king of the classroom anymore. I'm the friend. I'm the mentor. I want to be like you. I want to be equal. I want to sit next to you. I'm here to share my experience, like I give you the torch. This is also the sentence, like I bring you my experience and let's work together then, the curiosity.
Lighting a candle with another candle.
Yeah, that's nice, a very nice example. I think this is the way I do it, bringing over the torch. Yes.
That's great. I think it is very essential for us to be curious without depending too much on technologies to think for ourselves.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of students, there are a lot of people who want to start their own startups who are not a part of this boot camp. By the way, I've heard great reviews about the boot camp, but their own startups and they don't know how to go about it. In theory, it's all good. So what are the 5 practical things that you would suggest they do?
Well, first of all, there are a lot of students who want to start something for themselves. But let's look first behind the reason, because I can give you 5 tips, but if you do the tips, it has no guarantee that it works. But what is interesting? Some people just start because they think they earn money with it. And I never started something to earn money, There was always a vision behind, Maybe something like creating a better world. Of course you need to earn money, but it is more to achieve something, in a way that has nothing to do with my ego, but it has to do with creation, the power of creation. To give the world something that created a better product or service. Compare with a service there is, in food, in all kind of sectors. And a lot of students here start because they think if you start, that starting is starting itself. But that's not the way you start, because there are a lot of failures here in India. I know a bit about the figures, Universities, a lot of startups, competitions, hackathons, patents, thousands of them. But then I asked, how many were succeeded? And then India, I'm sorry to say, 10, 20, 30, well, worldwide, it's very difficult here to maintain to the next step, because it has to do with mentality. So starting up here, everybody wants to start up, but then on a certain level, when it becomes difficult, when you have to put your money in it, and or you need to make contact with people outside, it's more difficult, because people here are very shy. We had some talks about it, in pitching, in taking your phone, in going outside, and now I understand it better, and we are coming to the tips. But here there is a culture, a family culture, that said, okay, if you go for a job to the government, because then there is security. So you are very family driven, and I love it. I love it. I really love it. But the flip side of that part is that people are very into a family. They're born into the family. So if they go outside and they have to perform themselves, to stand up and to speak loud or to tell something, that's difficult in this culture. This is really difficult in this culture.
Yeah, for sure. There is a lot of failures, and as I say, when you're climbing up the ladder, it's very shaky. So how does one deal with those failures? In India, like you said, that the startups always end up, there are a number of startups that start, but they don't make it till the end. So how does one reach the end? How do they deal with that shakiness?
Yeah, that's very difficult, because there are so many reasons that there is a failure. But in general, I think it has to do with persistence. And then persistence has to do with background and culture. So we can talk a bit about that part. If you are born in a very close family and there is protection, then if there is something coming up like a difficult period, how to deal with that. And startup, you always read in a newspaper successes, and there are some famous sentences: the more money you need, the more the problem is, of course, because if you start something and you are successful, between brackets, then the success, okay, what is the success? The success is that you are out there for a few years. The success is that you earn money. So what is a success, And in my opinion, if you have a bit more persistence and believe in yourself, from heart and soul, and this is where we talked about earlier in this amazing podcast, it has to do with, believe in yourself, make a step further, maybe leave a bit where you were, progressive being, personality is that you make a step forward. So maybe you have to, in your family life or friends' life, you have to leave them a bit, because,
you have to step out of the safety bubble.
Yeah, have to safety. Yeah, that's. I think that's the sentence. Yeah, the safety mode or the safety model. Yeah, you have to believe in yourself. Because I remember so many times that people said to me, Mick, don't do it. But I did it because I was believing in it. And in the moment that I was doing it, then I heard their voice like, oh my God, what did I do? But then at the end, when I succeeded, I was thinking, if everybody could succeed, well, my idea was worthless, you know. So you need to have a certain profile, and you need to have a certain, well, I call it personality to succeed in creating a new company. Yeah.
Definitely, that was a great takeaway, I think, for anyone who's listening, that we need to get out of our safety bubbles if we want to do something great.
It has two sides, I think. You know, it is in this time, in this moment where we are living in a specific moment. You know, we are writing history. We are always writing history, but I'm here now. You know, if you're talking about my book, if you're talking about my pages, you know, I'm somewhere in my book, in my life. And it's not easy at the moment because so many things are in transition, you know, and the more is moving, you know, yeah, the less security you have in general. So, and if you want to start up or if you want to do something new, you need to have a certain, I call it vision. And vision is also based on a certain, I call it fundament. But if everything is moving, you know, society is moving, globally it's moving, even in your country things are going on, you know. So where to go then? If you want to open a shop or I don't know, you want to create a new food concept, you know, and with what happens now, it's the tariff structure, what happens, the globalization, things politically with China, with Europe. You know, when I was starting up early years, wow, you know, there were also a lot of things I had to keep in mind, you know, as, okay, I want to start up, I need to write a business case, business model, canvas, whatever. But nowadays there are more than 1,000 extra things I need to take in my mind before I be successful. And I think technology is there. Okay, a few words about technology, and not only about the chat thing, the chat GPT, but you know, there are nowadays two-man companies that really can fight or can compete a company with thousands of peoples. So, you know, things change. So you also need to have more competences, more skills than in the early day when you wanted to start a bakery in your village and you created the best, well, cakes, you know, everybody came. Then you could make a choice to start a chain of it.
You
Nowadays,
need to adapt.
It's time changed. Time changed a lot. Yeah.
Do you know about B-Tech Chaiwala and entrepreneurs like that?
I heard about it. Yes.
You've heard about it, yes?
Yeah.
So most of the students these days, even though after completing their degrees, are leaning more towards starting their own businesses, starting their own startups, because they see the potential there more than the jobs and more than the 9 to 4, 9 to 5 jobs. They cannot do it. So they want to do their own things. So we can see the transformation happening. Still, there are no results. Do you have any opinions on that?
Well, first of all, you know, if the structure of an economy is changing in people that are only working for themselves. I know what I'm talking about because I am from the Netherlands and I will give you the answer, but this is a very good point. If people are working for themselves, where are the people we need for the 9 to 5 jobs? I will give a few examples. In our country, in the Netherlands, even people that are working in hospitals are working for themselves. So hospitals were thinking that was cheaper, you know, that you could take personnel for 3 or 6 months, and if you ask them to send an invoice themselves, so they are working for themselves, it's cheaper because the hospital doesn't have to pay the taxes and things like that, you know. But because of that, the prices were raising, because if you send an invoice to a hospital, then you have to pay the tax, you know, and to save money for your accountancy and things like that. And in our country, it's now flipping to the opposite, that because of everybody want to work for themselves, first of all, our social system got in problems social system that we are saving together because of the 9 to 5 for pension, for social insurance. So keep an eye on that, first of all. The second thing is, if everybody wants to work for themselves and we only have a startup economy, I like startups, I like scale-ups because it's my passion. But I think we need a balance, we need a balance. And, there is always a balance, because in a car company or in a battery company, whatever, we need people to work there, you need staff. So I think startuping will balance itself, in a certain way. I think it's part of the answer, but I think it's very important. That's my experience. But again, this is India, it's your culture. I can also ask you questions. I know I'm sitting here on this chair, but I'm very curious how this will evolve in the next upcoming years, because everybody wants to start up, And another thing is, you need first experience, I got the luck that I built my experience, first of all, in my publicity company. I was there for years. Then I transformed it to an innovation, I call it company or shop. And I got the possibility to develop concepts for big clients. And in the meanwhile, I was starting up. It was a very special company in Amsterdam called Uluru. And then I got the money to invest in my own ideas. So I did it a bit like, okay, first I start my company. I learned from other companies. So it was in steps. I did it in steps. And now I do it, well, not every day anymore, but I still come with ideas and then, or I participate in it as an investor. But I'm quite curious how India or this region will develop themselves. By the way, I believe in it. This is also why I love your country, because more than half of your inhabitants are younger, I think, than 30 years old. So, wow, yeah, it's growing. Also, middle class is growing. That makes it for me so interesting to be here.
It's the era of the youth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a wonderful conversation with you. So, Mick, what would your advice be for all the people who are watching this podcast episode?
Yeah, I really would like to do that. Well, first of all, I want to say a few words about one of the most important parts, because people here are so talented. You are so talented. Please, let me tell you, I know what I'm talking about. But, we have to work on the ability to speak. And sounds a bit crazy. I'm looking at you now. I hope you can see me. Self-confidence. I think this is where we need to work on. Also in education. I believe in circle education, practical learning, not sitting in rows anymore. So I hope I can give myself the next upcoming period here in India, that we transform a bit the educational surrounding into that more circle-based learning, practical learning, and not that we are learning and doing only projects, but also that we bring in students really into innovation shops, or more boot camps. And the last sentence is, we do a boot camp here now for 5 days, but I am dreaming of a curriculum for 6 months, that we do 6 months, half boot camping, half classroom learning. So not as an event. This was an event. It's amazing to do an event. There is a lot of energy. Hundreds of people want to join me, want to be there. I do podcasts, but I want to do it for 6 months, And then we do 4 days, 5 days. Maybe we're 5 days on location at the company. And I think this will give, even more result and more experience. So yeah, this is my dream. Maybe this will be the cover of my book then. In a year, I will write it. Maybe I will write it here in India. You never know. I hope so.
Definitely. Thank you so much for giving your time and your energy to us, Mick.
Thanks for having me, and I hope to see you later again. And I never say goodbye to people anymore, because you never know where you see each other on the crossroad of the universe.
It's always a see you again. So that's all for today's episode. I hope you all enjoyed it. Do like, share, and subscribe, and do follow us for more.